Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Sober Bartender podcast, the show where we recover from life. I'm your host, Brandi Kelly. So today I wanted to give you guys a little update on what's going on with me. I took a job at a golf course, so I will now be checking some boxes that have been unchecked since moving here. With my current employment, I found this great tribe of people. I found people that I can connect with and that I really enjoy being around, but also a lack of structure and consistency. And I thrive in structure and consistency. So, every week I was able to put in requests for time off. I was able to just say, hey, I've got an interview this day. Hey, I've got an appointment this day, and get that time off. But I never knew what specific days I was going to work, whether it would be 3 or whether it would be 5 shifts. And so I got offered a job at bartending at a golf course in Port Aransas. So it's about a 30-minute drive from where I'm at, as opposed to a 5-minute drive. But I have a consistent schedule now. I'll be working 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So that is an exciting thing. Scary. Transition is scary. Like it doesn't stop being intimidating, the outcomes that aren't for sure. The unknown. I like the predictability. I like knowing what to expect. But I feel like making this uncomfortable transition now will lead to more of that comfort. But there's also growth in the discomfort of the transition. So I pulled one of my meditation cards today from the Universe Has Your Back deck by Gabby Bernstein. If y'all know me, you know that I love her. And so this was on point. The card that I pulled today was: the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. And the reason that is so spot on for me is because I have no control of the outcome. All I can do is make the choice of which direction I'm going to go. And then what happens from there is totally out of my hands. So today I really wanted to talk about relying on the universe, relying on God, relying on that higher power when you have those moments where you know that you yourself don't have control. So let's talk about that for a minute. The moment I embrace my peace within, so that means that I need to take a moment when things feel out of control, and I need to go to a peaceful place inside of myself and then surrender the outcome. I need to surrender what worst case scenarios I can come up with, or what outcome I'm hoping, what best case scenario I'm hoping for. I need to surrender all of that to that peaceful place inside of myself. And that's the moment that God can step in. That's the moment that the universe can truly get to work. That's when I allow space for miracles to happen in my life. But the more of a judo grip I keep on the outcome, the more I'm just going to sit and struggle and wrestle with it. And there are just some things that don't need my help. Like there are some things that are not up to me. The choice of which direction to go is up to me. And then beyond that, it's really out of my hands. I have this excerpt from The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. It says it's something that he had on his kid's wall, and it says, "Good morning, this is God. I will be handling all of your problems today. I will not need your help, so have a miraculous day." And there's something about that just, it makes my heart tingle because it's so true. Like, if it's already out there, like if you look at all of the things that go on that are not in your control, like what a relief. That was one of the biggest things when I surrendered to the program and I realized that I'm in charge of my hula hoop. What is immediately around me is my responsibility. And beyond that is none of my business. And I've been struggling with that a lot lately. A lot lately. That idea that I can help or rescue other people has been really intense lately, and being brought back to my basics and remembering that I'm in charge of my hula hoop and everything outside of that is totally up to God. That is up to the universe. That is up to a power greater than me. And hopefully those people bring God into their hula hoop. So more on surrender. What does surrender look like to me? Surrender looks like having all of those things, maybe that brain dump that we've talked about in previous episodes, having all the things that swirl, or that one major thing at the forefront of my mind, taking those things and then just going into a meditation. And if you're not familiar with meditation, then just sitting quietly, but finding the place inside of yourself where you feel your intuition is, where you feel that power or that fire inside of you, bringing those things to that place and really setting them down. I mean, I visualize quite a bit. So if it's a fire that's inside of you, you can picture putting those things into the fire. If it's a light that's inside of you, then you picture surrendering those things to the light. But not holding on to them anymore. Not having that in front of your coffee with your loved one, or, you know, continuously talking to them, to anyone that'll listen, and keeping the energy in that thing, because what we make things important by giving them energy. So if we take our energy away, then those things may still be happening, but they're not our immediate reality. When it comes to like overwhelm or feeling like I have too many things on my plate, I picture that I'm juggling these balls, right? And some of them are glass and some of them are plastic. So in my mind, I label the balls, and like, one is housework and one is housework. So one is housework, one is, my marriage. So one of them is my marriage, one of them is my job, one of them is yard work, one is housework, one is friends and family, one is, my morning routine, one of them is the gym. But I'm juggling all these balls, but some of them are glass and some are plastic. So as I'm juggling and I'm feeling overwhelmed and I've got all this going on, I have to look at what's glass and what's plastic. Meaning, I can set the plastic balls down. I can let them drop. And they're just going to bounce and they're going to wait on the floor for when I'm ready to pick them back up again. Whereas the glass balls, if I let them drop, they're going to break. And I feel like a really helpful thing is to actually do this exercise and identify what your glass balls are. So what are you prioritizing? Like, what am I prioritizing? My marriage is a glass ball. I don't let the ball drop on my marriage, on communicating with my husband, on nurturing our relationship, on, setting aside time to connect and, to do what we need to do to stay happy and healthy as a unit. There's also work. If I don't work, then I can't pay my bills. So work is a glass ball. It's a glass ball with boundaries, but it is a glass ball nonetheless. I have to work until I don't. So I also prioritize my recovery. My recovery is a glass ball. That's a ball that if that breaks, then none of it matters. And that's an important one to remember, because the farther that I get away from the last time I drank, the more comfortable and confident I get in my own skin. I have no desire to drink or take mind-altering substances. If I get feelings of discomfort, then I'm uncomfortable. And I know that I need to make a change in my life. But every feeling doesn't require a reaction or a response from me. And that's thanks to that glass recovery ball. So I'm hoping that this analogy makes sense, because I can picture it in my mind. But yeah, I mean, my husband has never seen me drink. So that recovery ball shattering, I mean, I hope he never has to experience that with me, because I don't go to a good place. Good things do not happen in my life when I drop the ball on my recovery. My meditation is a glass ball. It's something that is absolutely crucial to my mental and emotional and spiritual well-being. So meditation is filling my cup, and self-care was never a priority for me. I mean, getting my nails done, getting my hair done, those were priorities. But in my opinion, those were not the necessary self-care that I needed to function in the world. So like, what do you need to live a happy, healthy, comfortable life? If you haven't figured out what your thing is, then I suggest you start trying different things. Find your thing. I say that a lot and I mean it. Find your thing. What do you like to do? If dancing is your form of meditation, you better dance before you leave the house in the morning. My best friend Candy in Vegas, she did a lot of energy work. She had things going on with herself that were causing her a great deal of suffering and pain. And she found a thing and she worked it, and it works. Is that the thing for everybody and everybody needs to try that? I mean, kind of, but also that doesn't have to be your thing. If, going to church is your thing, go to church. If volunteering and public, like doing service is your thing, then do your thing. But find what lights you up and makes you feel good. As far as spirituality goes, it's a very, very individual process. It's a very personal experience. And mine came from deep suffering, hopelessness, and desperation, where I was willing to believe in anything as long as it wasn't me. And I'm so glad that I went to that place, because that lowest of lows made me grateful for every single thing, every sunshine, every little squirrel that I see. I mean, I'm grateful for it all. And I couldn't really see life that way before. So some books that really helped me in the beginning. I read all kinds of books. I mean, I've told you guys before, the books that I read are like self-help books, but The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein, um, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Where is it? Oh, The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. I read those before. I read The Power of Intention before I quit drinking, and I could not understand it. I couldn't get through like a page or two, and I would keep having to like reread it. I wasn't ready. And once I cleared the substances out and opened up that channel. So the reason that I feel being substance free was the ideal path for me is because all of these things were blocking that tube, that channel to my connection with God, to my connection with the universe, to my connection to source. Like source was in me, and I had all this, like, picture this little white ball of light, and then I just had all this crap piled around it. And it was like, fear and self-loathing and trauma and all these things, and I just kept packing more around this ball and just trying to stifle it and suffocate it, and then pouring alcohol on top of that, so it was just a stinking, soaking blah. And then, pouring drugs on top of that and just hardening like the outer crust of it. And so taking those substances out, that ball was still there. And I couldn't get to work on taking those things out. Like they didn't just go away because the substance went away. But the light was always in there. But I couldn't feel it because I was suffocating it with all of the things. So it was through the 12 steps that each of those things was removed. Took it all out piece by piece. And some of those pieces I needed to take to therapy. And some of those pieces, I set to the side and then I put back in. And then had to experience more discomfort to take them out. But then, as you remove these things and let them, now I'm not pulling them out, they're falling away. Like a life experience comes up and I recognize something that's still there. And then I analyze whether or not it's serving my highest purpose, whether it's helping me create the life that I'm trying to live. And if it's not, then it goes. But now every day, my prayer and meditation practice is focused on that light, like that glow that's inside of me. And my intention is to expand that glow, expand that light. And most days I feel it. I feel like I'm vibrating. I feel like I could just spill out and cover the entire world with it. And that's a meditation that definitely, the glow meditation that I learned at Chapel Recovery. It creates this feeling of good. But I had to have help to get to that place. But no one could do it for me. Absolutely no one could say, I think it's time for you to go within. I had to be at such a point of desperation that I went to someone and said, please help me. I will do anything. And I'm thinking like, I don't know. I've got to walk on hot coals. I don't know what I've got to do, but I've got to do something. And it really wasn't that. It was less dramatic and equally painful, but not on a physical level. And 100% worth it, 1,000% worth it. So as I continue on my recovery journey at 2 years, 2+ years, almost 2.5 years, now I'm in recovery Dharma, and there's the inquiry work. And so that's like a reinvestigation of all of those things. So where am I at now? What am I holding on to now? What do I have that is suffocating that light, that I feel like doesn't serve my highest purpose anymore? What can I set down? And there's still plenty. And new stuff comes up every day. I'm just quicker to go, nope, I don't want that. So I do feel like I'm leveling up, and I don't mean that because I'm making more money or because I'm booking more clients, but because I'm more comfortable in my skin every day. I'm less thinking of, I'm not thinking about what you might be thinking about me or how you might be receiving me. I've been told over and over and over, and I have told people over and over and over that other people's opinions are none of your business. But it takes a long time for that to sink in if you're me. Also, I'm not responsible for how people receive what I say. You're going to receive it based on where you're at and based on your experience and your perception. So when you have a truth to speak, when you have something to say, where you're coming from is where you're at. So just like they say, everything that someone says or does is a result of where they're at. So whatever I say is from my perception, from my experience, from my level of love, compassion, kindness, understanding of myself. And so how I experience you is based on that. I can't experience you based on your experience because I don't share that experience. So everything that I say and do is my responsibility to myself. But how you receive me is totally up to you. How you hear me is totally up to you and none of my business. It leaves my hula hoop and it stops being my business and it's out of my concern. I have to surrender that to the universe. And like that surrender can feel terrible or it can feel like the biggest relief. Like, can I change it? Can I accept it? Can I tell the difference? So like, is this serving me? Yes. Okay. Then I will accept it and I will embrace it and I will run at it. Can I change it? No. Can I accept it? No. If I can't accept it, that's where I struggle. Anytime I fight reality, I suffer 100% of the time. Anytime that I want things to be different than the way they already are, I'm suffering, I'm struggling. So that's where presence comes in. That's where being in the now comes in. So where is my body? Where is my butt? Like, I am in a chair, I am in an office, I am in a home, I am in a town, I am in a state, I'm in a country, I'm on a planet, I'm in a galaxy, I am in the universe. But all I'm responsible for is here and now. So speaking of loving reality, I always forget, and I don't know why, because this is one of my all-time favorite books, Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Byron Katie is a game changer. She has a process called the work, and it's 4 questions that can change your life. And holy crap, they do. Loving What Is, read it. Anytime I go to the bookstore, I look for copies of Loving What Is. I look for copies of the 4 Agreements, because I love to give them to people because they changed my life. But there's a lot of freedom in finding a way to accept reality. It's not the problem that causes our suffering. It's our thinking about the problem. It says, contrary to popular belief, trying to let go of a painful thought never works. Instead, once we've done the work, which is in this book, the thought lets go of us. At that point, we can truly love what is just as it is. Like, the only thing that's real is reality. And your reality depends on your ability to see and experience. So if you can shape your reality, like I talk about this, and I talk about this a lot, and I can't talk about it enough. Your willingness to see things through a different perspective, your willingness to zoom out or to do work, to let things go, is what determines what's happening in your world. So I feel like I've been a little bit all over the place today. So really, I want to encourage people. I want to encourage myself to just keep digging and to keep doing the work in any and all capacities. Today, my prayers were, to God and to my spirit guides, and I spoke with the Holy Spirit and just asked that I be guided to my highest good, the highest good for all. So whatever that is, whatever that looks like, I'm on that search for expansion and for knowledge and for love and for compassion and for understanding. And it starts with myself, because like I said, I can't do those things for anyone else if I don't have that level of understanding for myself. So the work starts with us. So we can't be out there trying to save and rescue people, because then we're only able to take them as far as we're willing to go. I talked to a friend of mine. I was talking to her, and she was telling me how she was so frustrated that everybody tells her what to do, and everybody's trying to give her, all this advice and what they think is best. And what I told her was, those people think that they're helping because they're offering you what their best coping mechanism or their best solution for that situation is, because that's based on where they've been in themselves. But that doesn't mean that it's helpful or it's healthy or it's what you need. Right now, I'm coming across a lot of people who just need someone to listen. And so if you know somebody or you care about somebody who seems to be having a hard time and you don't know how to help them, ask them if they need someone to listen. Because sometimes we don't need someone to solve our problems. We just want to feel heard and we want to feel seen. So listen and try to listen to understand, not listen genuinely without assuming that you know what they mean, and just hear what they're saying. Another book, another good lesson is the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Don't take anything personally. That's a hard one. And that's back to what I was saying earlier about everything that someone does is based on where they're at. But how you receive it is an indicator of where you're at. So don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Don't make assumptions. Also a hard one, especially if you're in a relationship. Very hard. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. So that first part, it says, don't make assumptions. And then it says, find the courage to ask questions and express what you really want. And then the 4th agreement is always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. So another book I highly recommend by Don Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements. I feel like it's all out there. Like everything that we're looking for, everything that we're looking for is inside of ourselves, but the path to get there, like the help is there. So read the books. And if in the moment that you read them, you couldn't necessarily absorb them, reread the books, listen to the podcasts, join the groups, find your tribe, that's a good one, community, Sangha. I've never had a friend group like I have right now. I have a group of like-minded people, and we're all on different paths in our lives. Like some are parents, some are non-parents, but we're all on this spiritual journey, and we don't compare ourselves to each other, and we don't ever there's never any like side talk about anyone in the group. At least, I mean, there's just not a thing. We're all just there to lift up, encourage, and share and support where the other is going and what the other is doing. And I found that here by being willing to look for it. So none of it fell into my lap. Like people told me, oh, you have to meet Gwen. And I didn't meet Gwen and I didn't experience the friendship. So I hear Gwen is amazing. I know, I know that other people experience Gwen and she's great, but until I pick up the phone and I call Gwen and I say, hey, can we be friends? I don't get that experience. And, like we meet every 2 weeks or so for lunch. Well, those things don't happen until someone initiates and says, hey, can we go to lunch? Hey, is anybody free this day for lunch? It takes initiative. It takes effort. If you're just sitting back and you're waiting for someone to come and rescue you, it doesn't work that way. You have to rescue you. You have to be the one. I had to want it. I had to want it with every ounce of my being. And I still do. I still want it every day, whatever that it is. I want that feeling. I want that peace. I want that connection. I think about it like joining a gym. Like you can join the gym and you can pay for the membership. You can even hire a trainer. But you won't get any results if you don't show up and do the work. You won't get any results if you don't follow that meal plan. You won't get any results if you don't do the work that they give to you on the days when they're not there holding your hand. And due to, my own journey and where I'm at, like having walked away from my sponsor, I had somebody that was really, she definitely wasn't holding my hand, but she was always there. But I had to reach up. And then she was there waiting. But she never once came and knocked on my door and said, get in the car, let's go to a meeting. Or get in the car and come to my house, we're doing step work. It was always a matter of me reaching out and saying, okay, I want this. And I had to want it every day. And it was not easy and it wasn't fun, but oh my gosh, it was worth it. It was worth it because being able to sit in the house by myself and just be with my thoughts, being able to decide where I'm going or what I'm doing and not have it be determined by whether or not I can drive, whether I'm impaired, whether I can drink there. I mean, that ran my life for a long time. So, like I was saying, read the books, find the knowledge, whatever your thing is, find it and embrace it. And that light that's inside of you, that universe that lives in you, that spark of the divine that you inherited, that worth that you are, you don't have to earn that. That just, it's who you are. It came with your life force. Getting to that thing and then nurturing it and helping it grow and expand, that's where it's at. So whatever you need to do to get to that, I implore you to do it. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and for listening. If you're enjoying the show, please take time. If you're on Apple or Spotify, take time to rate and review. If you go to the podcast homepage, you scroll to the bottom on Apple and you'll see rate and review. And you can leave your star rating and then you have to click another thing to leave a review. That helps. That helps me get seen. That helps people find the podcast. So then when they go to search for it, it pops up, as opposed to them having to dig to the depths of podcasts to get here. If you're struggling, please just know you're going to get through this. Just keep going. You can't do you wrong. And this too shall pass. Everything that you're experiencing will one day be a memory. All the good and the bad. It won't always be like this. So do something today that makes you happy. I love you guys so much. I really, really, really appreciate you being here and listening and following my journey and supporting me and encouraging me. And I have some really exciting guests coming up in the upcoming weeks. So please keep tuning in. Please keep sharing. Tell your friends, tell your family, bring it up, make it weird. I love you guys. I will talk to you next week.